Good air, and welcome to the Loaf of Bread GAA podcast, slicing into the GAA of the past, present and future. Join me, Jason Keelan, as we cut into the largest loaf of bread known to mankind. On Slice 10 this week, I have the chats with 3 stars of the current Longford senior men's football panel: Killoe's Danny Mimnagh, Father Manning Gaels goalkeeper Paddy Collum, and my cousin Darragh Doherty from Mostrim. We chat everything from the Paddy Collum chants, Danny taking water from a homeless man in Dublin, Darragh recovering the O'Byrne Cup from the Gardai, Paddy Power tweeting about Paddy's hat, Danny playing off 8 in golf, and much more. But before that, let's take our usual trip to the lads' home county of Longford. Bon Sultas. This week we come back up the country from the Kingdom of Kerry with Owen Fitzgerald in Munster last week to the northern part of Leinster and the banks of the River Camlin in County Longford. Around the 5th century, the area was known as the Kingdom of Tetba, but then eventually ruled by such families as the Quins and the Farrells. North Tetba was around the area of Granard and South Tetba around Ardagh. The area is heavily associated with St Patrick. Indeed, the main religious building in the town of Longford, St Mel's Cathedral, is named after Bishop Mel. Mel's mother was Darragh, St Patrick's sister. In the late 16th century, Longford existed as part of North West Meath, but was then given its own area by Elizabeth I. However, it wasn't until 1608 that James I made it part of Leinster. Longford had until then been considered once as a part of Connacht. Imagine Galway versus Longford in the Connacht final. The county may not get much major publicity, but it has been at the epicentre of much of the country's important aspects. During the 1798 rebellion against the English, Longford was often involved in the height of the battles. Then during the Irish War of Independence, one rebel leader, Sean MacOwen, was one of the most important leaders. MacOwen was born in Granard in the county and became known as the Blacksmith of Ballinallee. His involvement as an IRA leader made him iconic, even garnering praise in the US and beyond for his efforts in Irish freedom fighting. In 1921, MacOwen was captured while trying to escape the British at Mullinanaghta railway station. Ironically, after being shot, his life was saved by my own great-grandfather, Dr. P.J. Keelan, the first heart surgeon in Mullinanaghta. MacOwen was reportedly meant to be the best man at the wedding of Michael Collins, before his own untimely murder at Ballinablaw in 1922. Collins' wife-to-be, Kishie Kiernan, was herself born in Granard, County Longford. In modern times, Longford has continued to grow as a commuter area for the likes of Dublin and others. With the building of centre parks near Ballymahan in 2019, the county has a facility that can rival any family destination in the country. Danny Mimnagh's club, Emmet Road Killoe, were founded in 1889 as Killoe Erin's Pride. Soon after, a second club in the area, Killoe MacMahon's, was formed, but by 1905 they had amalgamated under the name of the Irish patriot Robert Emmet. In 1907 the club won both the senior hurling and football titles. Record books show them winning the next 9 football titles from 07 to 15, but in fact the slow pace of playing games meant that it took up to 2 years for a season, which means they only actually won 4. In the coming years the club fell to junior ranks and remained there for more than 4 decades. After short amalgamations with the likes of Abby Lara and Sean Connolly's, the club found itself back at the top table of Longford. In 1985, after a long wait, Killoe won the senior title with a Mimnagh present on the team. In 1988, one Desi Dolan Sr. took charge, and the club became the first in the county's history to win the senior and junior titles in the same year. In modern years, with the likes of Sean McCormack and Mickey Quinn, Danny and others, the club has achieved great levels of success and are likely to be a continuing force in years ahead. Danny says that as a child his father's influence was key. He coached the school team and won 3 senior titles, the last of which was in 1995 when he was captain and Danny was just 2 years old. Danny himself has championships at all levels from under 12 up, including 4 senior titles. But Danny says his fondest memory was the 2012 final against Longford Slashers. A replay victory bridged the club's gap from their previous senior title win in 95. This time it was Danny representing the Mimnagh family on the pitch. His father, the 95 winning captain, was the club chairman. A true family affair. Killoe lost the 1975 intermediate title to a club called Father Manning Gaels from Drumlish, home today of Longford goalkeeper Paddy Collum. Ironically, the club was originally named Drumlish Robert Emmet's and were also founded in 1889. In 1920 the club, now known as the Ballinamok 98s, won their first senior title. In 1948, a mentor by the name of Father Sean Manning arrived to the club. He would help them win the senior title in 1951 and 53. In 1955 they also won senior, but the year also saw the departure of Father Sean, who had been such an influence on the club. In 1969, the club was renamed Father Manning Gaels in honour of Father Sean, who had since passed. By the mid-90s, the club was still searching for their first senior title since the one in 55. Names like Hanafi and McNally were gone and new men were needed. In 1996, the duck was broken and the dose repeated again in 97 with victory over Longford Slashers, the first of the club's domestic treble that year. 98 saw a 3 in a row completed in dramatic fashion as the now county manager Pádraig Davis kicked a long-range score in the final minutes. In modern times, the Gaels have become synonymous with the running of the famous Marquee and Drumlish also. Down the road then finally is Edgeworthstown, home to Mostrim GAA and currently their sole county representative Darragh Doherty. Darragh is my own cousin, or other brother in many ways given how close our families have been. His sister Lisa currently lives out in Sydney and has always really been considered a sister. Darragh's father, my Uncle Eddie, claims to be the reason I love music, having bought me a drum kit, aged 3, something my parents were not so happy about once the noise kicked in. Darragh's mother Deirdre, like Eddie, gives her heart and soul on the sidelines of GAA matches, often in a very vocal way. Think Mrs. Doyle in the Father Ted episode of the Over 75s Priest football match, and you have it. Except Deirdre knows exactly what she's talking about. Around 1891, the Edgeworthstown Volunteers GAA club were involved in many games. In the coming years, Mostrim GAA became a major force with the likes of Hughie Devine in the forwards. In the coming seasons, recurrent surnames began appearing: Green, Doherty, Devine, Kenny, Morgan and McLaughlin, but to name a few. In 1945, Mostrim joined with Sean Connolly's, but it didn't last. In 1949 the club lost a junior final despite bringing men out of retirement and even home from England, having emigrated during the 30s. In the 1960s the club had some success at many levels with the likes of Darragh's grandfather Eddie Doherty, or Ned as he was better known, in the forward line. In 1970 the club's first senior title was clinched with the Leader Cup through a late goal by Paddy Noonan. In modern days, Mostrim still continues to be a strong outfit at senior level. Darragh continues on the tradition of the Doherty name with the club, after his grandfather and the likes of his uncles Damien and Brendan. Today, Doc, as he is known, remains the sole representative of Mostrim on the county team. On his senior All-Ireland Championship debut against Kildare in 2019, he was introduced to the starting 15 after Liam Connerton pulled his hamstring in the warm-up. Sure enough, he found the net in the second half to help Longford draw in what was one of the most thrilling games of the season. And then in January 2020, Doc came off the bench again to kick another point in the county's first silverware in the men's senior since the Leinster title in 1968. An O'Byrne Cup victory against Offaly, the first silverware that he had tasted at senior level. And so having met Killoe, Father Manning Gaels and Mostrim, let's now meet the three men themselves. Mostrim GAA's Darragh Doherty, Father Manning Gaels goalkeeper Paddy Collum, and Emmett O'G Killoe's Danny Mimnagh.
Jason, how's things? You well?
Sure, not too bad. Doc, Doc, you look like an old lad with glasses on that you just haven't put around your head yet.
If I fucking need them. How can I see you all in this?
Yeah, this technology is tricky, isn't it?
You think after a few years in college you might understand how to work a laptop or Zoom?
Anyone like me calendar? No, Aaron Wambasaka.
Oh, Jesus.
No, not really, no, to be honest.
It's a lot of money for a right back.
It's very poor.
Yeah. Paddy Collum is last, so is it 10 laps after training for him? So
that's no surprise to him last.
He beat you in a 1K now, Doc.
He would beat me in a 1K, definitely.
He probably bet you there a few weeks ago, did he?
Yeah, he's done a lot of running.
Outrageous for a goalkeeper.
Himself and Mickey are flying.
He's been doing a fair bit, but look, what else would you be doing? He's been doing a bit of work there and with the old fella and stuff, but what else can you do? That's all you can look forward to.
He's not in final year in college, you know.
Oh, sorry. He said, he sends a snap of him playing FIFA and a picture of the computer. Work with having college online. You can do it whenever you want.
Hey, ultimate team is important.
I let Paddy in there now, will I? Oh, there he is.
Otherwise,
there he is. How are you, Pad?
Paddy, how are you getting on? Late for training. That's 10 laps.
No laps these days.
I heard you're able to take Darragh Doherty in a 1K. Is that true?
It'd be true enough, yeah.
Oh, he was raging when it was said to him. You could tell the head of he was gonna what?
I only run from the end line to the 21, lads. I don't go outside the 21.
I've never even seen you run from the end line to the 21. Never outside it. So.
And then you take after some of your idols with United, Van Persie and the boys, and you take a dive. Just free.
I don't go down easy.
Straight in with it, Danny. Straight in talking about United, like you're jealous.
No,
Liverpool.
Look what's behind his big head.
Oh, he's a Liverpool man. All right, okay. I'll have to remember that for the end. Thanks for coming on, lads. It's a bit of crack having you on. Well, Danny and Paddy anyway, not so much Darragh, but sure, look, nothing I can do about that. Yeah, Doc, I suppose I'll start with yourself since I suppose I have to start with the family, don't I? Who are your, same question to ask everybody, who are your GAA influences growing up, other than me and Eddie Doherty and Darragh Doherty?
Probably would have been my dad, yeah, to be fair. They would have been well into the GAA, our family. Uncles Brendan and Damien would have played a lot then as well, but it probably would have been my dad, yeah. He would have got me into it from the start. He would have coached me from probably under sixes the whole way to minor. And now he's selected this year, the senior team. So yeah, I probably would go with my dad. Yeah.
Nice one, yeah. Danny, what about you?
Yeah, it's funny. Sure, look, it's nearly the same. You'd find inspiration, and you'd find certain qualities in a lot of players. Like I again come from a family of football. My dad would have played a lot of football there with the club, a small bit with the county, and he won a few championships. And I was always on the sideline, Mum would always tell stories, about you being younger, you'd just always having a ball and never coming in, inside. And, watching football down the years, I was always big kind of Kerry fanatic, and Maurice Fitzgerald was probably one of the main, heroes of mine. And then Matty Ford from Wexford was another one. I don't know why I always kind of gravitated towards looking at him. He just seemed to always be the man for the big moments. And from my own club, I have so many to look at, and Sean McCormack is probably one that you've always looked up to. Yeah. I'm lucky to be able to play alongside him for so many years,
Yeah, wouldn't be a bad footballer either. Paddy, what about yourself?
Yeah, well, I having all the notes Danny would have wrote down there.
I'm a teacher.
No, it have to be family with me again. Like, it has to be my brother. My brother played for Longford under 21s and that. Like, and I would have attended all the trainings when I was only like 13, 14, and even when he was playing with the club here in Drumlish, so I was still going down and doing bits of training sessions. Always like Danny, always on the sideline, always there watching them playing. Like, and just always wanted to play with them. Like, and then I come from a club that has had some outstanding footballers for Longford and for the Gaels, like Podgy Davis, David Hannafy, all these sort of lads that you're looking up to. So you couldn't go too far wrong following in the footsteps of any of them.
Oh yeah, I'm just thinking this one actually, because it wasn't something I was going to ask you, but it came up. I was chatting to Chrissy McCaig the other night, and Doc sent me on the video of when Chrissy McCaig levelled him and left him on the ground in the league match against Derry. When I asked him about the rivalry with Longford, because you've had kind of a strange rivalry with them over the years, like some, before some of your time, but he said that with Longford, the one thing that he always thought was there was always three lads pretty much every time on the Longford team that needed man marking. And he singled out Mickey Quinn, Paul Barden, and Brian Kavanagh as the three best Longford players. Would you agree that they're three of your finest?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's hard to see past it, right?
Yeah. You're sicking now. You're like, he didn't know to do that. No, he didn't.
Don't put that in the podcast.
Three of us here, and you're throwing out names like that.
I know, yeah, sure. Look, no, I just decided to ask you. He was very complimentary, Longford, in fairness. Now, not of the three of you, but he was complimentary, Longford. Otherwise, He did get a good laugh out leveling Doc though in the league match. He didn't say it was a dive as such, but he wasn't. He kind of wanted to say it. I could tell. So
well, knowing Doc, you know yourself inside that he's going the ground.
Ball.
Well, I'll go back to the GA in a second, but I have to ask how the golf is going, Danny.
Sure. Look, I have good company there with the two lads. I've played for a good while, and it's a great sport there. Just to get away from football because it can nearly take so much of your life. So I've always found it to be a relaxing sport. And then Doc has always played throughout the years, and he played with your brother Ian would have come down to Longford working the golf club, and then of course Paddy. When there was the lockdowns there, the golf clubs all over were getting certain green fees. Green fees were a lot cheaper, and a lot of the Longford boys and club lads are all around Longford. We're just kind of getting on to me, just saying, what's the story? And sure, the amount of games I've had with lads who are just interested in it, like it was just a great pastime to have while football wasn't on, and you can actually see that lads are getting seriously interested in it, and it's something you have until your hips go. You're 85, and that's the joy. I play against my dad like every day, every week, and not now, of course, but he still beats me. It's one sport I can never get the better of.
What handicap are you playing off now, Danny?
I'm off 8 at the minute, but sure, look at. Yeah. Plenty of competition from the book down there. Doc, he's not too bad at himself.
Yes, and Paddy, what are you playing off?
Yeah, I'm playing a 19, lads. So
same as myself.
Yeah, I wouldn't agree with Danny there saying now it's a very relaxing sport. I find it very frustrating at times.
Join the club.
By the way, Danny doesn't be that relaxed playing at something too.
What was that?
Danny doesn't be that relaxed playing at something too. I've seen a few meltdowns.
It's always a competitive edge, Yeah, it's always nice to beat you as well, Doc.
Doc, what are you playing off? So what's the official handicap now with the new
13.
system?
13. I'm off.
Right, fair enough. That sounds like a gangster score, to be honest.
Probably be a bit lower.
I've got out with you where you've shot a couple over before, so I think
I'd be happy enough.
Bandit country, yeah.
Bandit, yeah, definitely, yeah. Paddy, what's the highlight been with Father Manning Gaels so far?
Oh, there's not too many highlights, but look, we won the intermediate championship 2 years ago. We won the intermediate 2 years ago. We got relegated I think it was 2017, and we won the intermediate in 2019. That's probably one of the biggest highlights. Coming up to senior football last year and actually getting to a quarter final, running slashers very close. That's up there as well. You want to be playing in the senior grade and that, but they'd have to put it down to winning the intermediate. Yeah,
and Daddy, what's the highlight for yourself been at club level with Killoe?
Yeah, look at it's kind of the boys are probably laughing. Look at last while we've probably been lucky. We've had a good group of lads there together. It's funny. I always go back to Dad. In '95, he was the last captain. He won the senior club, and he was the captain. We hadn't won it up until 2012, and I was lucky to be a part of that team. And I don't think, I think that'll probably be the best highlight of my career anyways, that 2012 breaking that duct for the club, and it was just such special celebration,
Yeah.
It was great.
Yeah, deadly, yes. And Doc, what's the highlight with Mostrim so far?
I don't know. I don't have a lot in senior. I'm only playing for maybe 4 years, kind of. But I suppose this year would have been a big highlight. We were going very well this year. We were actually playing Killoe in the semi-final, and we bet Abilara by 7 points in the quarter final, and that's hard done in Pearse Park, especially against Abilara. So we were going very well, and we were looking forward to the Killoe game. And I know Danny was talking a great game for them and giving them these good speeches, but we were confident enough going into that we could have done it. But
every time you know yourself, Jason, every time you go over to Eddie Doherty's house, he's always playing them down, trying to get in your ear.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's true.
I don't listen to Eddie too much now these days.
Have you much the three of you? Have you much history against each other at club level?
Yeah, well, me and Paddy would.
We would have grown up the whole there was an age group there of say in Killoe that my age group could never beat, but then say my last year. We always got the better at Killoe, so it was awful. We used to have great rivalry the whole way up from under 14 to under 21, and then we just fell off the boil and never pushed on in the senior grade.
Paddy.
Just always that sort of 10 lads there that were, within the both groups, and even more than that. There was great rivalry. Like Paddy was saying, we won a minor in 2010, and they had a year left, but there was just something we could never pip them in their final year. They just had a quality team, and then it's funny. You'd always kind of talk to the boys after, and you'd see them on nights out, and the under 21 meant so much to them, and the celebrations they had after. It was, looking back, it's you never like to see everyone having success, but it was a great game. We were supposed to have walked that because we won the senior championship the year before, but they bet us off the park. That it was just it was a shock in our eyes, but they knew right well they were going to win that game and deserved it.
Nice one, yes. Paddy, I have to ask, I suppose there was one of my favourite songs of the 90s was by a band called Corner Shop, but that song Brimful of Ashes has since been reimagined. Have you anything to say about the famous Paddy Collum chant?
Oh, that was a good friend of mine, Paddy Gill, thought he'd come up with that, and he got that going. I think it was actually after a league final. We were in O'Donoghue's in Dublin, and we were after losing the Offaly, and he Brave Giant were playing in O'Donoghue's, and he started singing that out loud, and so everyone started singing, and then I don't know if it made me look good or bad. But
well, it's always a good thing to have a chant though in the GAA. There's not many lads that can say they have their own chant, behind the goals. The Oakter Ard lads were chatting the other night saying they were playing, I think it was Oran Moore, and there were just 15 young lads who just followed them to a lot of games, who just started roaring abuse at them the whole time. So it's probably better to have a chant, I suppose, than...
that's it for sure, yeah.
Yeah, definitely,
He had another good one, though. He probably hasn't...
Go on, Danny, yeah.
We're after losing to Tyrone last year, the year before. And
was that in Pearse Park, was it?
In Pearse Park,
yeah. I was at that, yeah.
Yeah, we lost by only 2 points in the end, but...
make it even sound worse.
Paddy was given a short kick out, and it was well read by Niall Sludden, and the day after, of course, so we were all kind of drown our sorrows or whatnot, and sure, the song came out about who kicked the ball to Niall Sludden.
So he got more than one chant, right? I have to remember that. So
he's good for
that one.
It was worse on the twos of
who were telling Paddy was colourblind because he didn't know the difference of the colours of the jerseys.
Jeez, Paddy, I got awful abuse off the two lads here. So we'll have to come up with a chant for the two boys, I think, by the sounds of it. Doc, go to yourself. The 2015 minor final. I paid big money to go to that game in Croke Park, and it was the best 10 minutes ever until you kicked the point and then decided you had enough and went off. And then Westmeath got the shite bet out of them by Dublin. So what's your memory of the minor final apart from getting concussed?
Yeah, I don't remember a lot of the minor final. I got concussed after about 15 minutes, and actually Danny's brother was our physio at the time.
All right.
And he actually wanted to take me off, and I kind of refused. I said I'm not going off because of the occasion. With now hindsight, I should have went off, but I got taken off after a while anyway. But and I was brilliant, like definitely a career highlight. We actually went up to Croke Park on the Wednesday. I actually met you up there.
That's right.
We kind of got a little, like a 15-minute training session, and got it kind of just out on the pitch, and it took away that, when you go up on the Sunday and you're looking around thinking, oh Jesus, like, so that was all done on the Wednesday. So no, we had a really good Meath team actually in the semi-final, and we were actually quite confident. But we come up against a really good Killoe side as well, and they bet us by, I think, 6 points in the end. But yeah, unreal to play in Croke Park, and then Dublin were playing after, so like the crowd was building for the second half, so it was really good. It was a big occasion for us at the time. Like, definitely, I think the two boys. I don't know, Danny, did you play? But Paddy, you played in the big one as well. And that's the final you won, so that's huge as well,
Yeah, what's your experience at Croke Park then, Danny or Paddy?
Sure, my first one would have been the minor final in 2010 as well. More than Darragh there, like they brought us up on the Thursday and brought us out and toured the stadium and that, and we weren't lucky enough to get a little training session on it, but Podgy Davis was involved, and I think some of the subs were sent down with 2 footballs down to the canal end, and the security crowd all came running out, and when that was going on, Podgy had the rest of the footballs up so the forwards could do their shooting into the air for 4 or 5 minutes. But, no, Crow Park it's a serious outfit, like, and that's where you want to play your football. I think lucky enough to play there maybe 5 times and not tell you how many goals I've let in that time, but 2 of them sittings would have been against Dublin.
I normally like my stats, but I don't have that stat here. It's probably better. No, I don't bring it out, I suppose.
It's not one that we'd like to see now.
I suppose for the trivia, it's kind of slightly off the football point, but Longford have won 3 Laurie Marr Cups in hurling in the last 10 years or so, despite only having 3 hurling clubs, senior hurling clubs. Is it something that's on the rise in Longford that you see, or probably not?
Yeah, well, I actually, out of the 3 of us, my club would actually want to be one of the hurling clubs. I would have played it, and actually, the 3 times they won it, 2 of our club men would have been the captain at the time. But it's 3 clubs. It's hard to really, like they're playing the Westmeath League actually. And that's like they can't even have their own league or that. But Paddy there now is after starting hurling there for Clongish in the last 2 years. So
he's a county champion.
Yeah, he's a county champion down there.
Cheers, Paddy. There's a story behind this. It says there.
My mother's from Newtown, and I would have played hurling as a young fella over there. And I just quit playing the last couple of years, and then I started going out with a girl from Newtown, and her brother is a very good hurler, Joe O'Brien.
All right.
And I just started back playing a little bit in my first year back. We won the senior championship. So I got a few days on the beer for that.
There's a common denominator there now. I don't want to read this.
I won't read it. I'll try not. Yeah, I'll try not read into it too much. I suppose back to the football. Given the way COVID and everything went this year and last year, and I don't know what year it is anymore, but you got the walkover against Cork, which is a huge win for you, and then 3 wins and 3 defeats. Is that a successful enough league campaign, or would you have liked more?
It's hard to know. You'd always fancy yourself within Longford. You know that there's talent there, and you kind of look back on them, and even go back to 2018, and we had a great team there, and should have got promotion to be denied up in Armagh by a few dodgy decisions. But it kind of. When you look, we haven't had too many, negative years where we've had more loss than wins, and you kind of feel that there's a good group there at the minute that can push on, but it's time is kind of, is against us, and you need to kind of make them, pushes, and you always find that you're better than you are. We do know that we should have had a few more. We should have had a few more wins this year. COVID really, put a halt to all the progress we were making, and then traveling up to Derry, it just wasn't. It was just off the bat. We just were coming back to things. Everything wasn't really fresh, and our eyes were really on that. At that stage, we knew we weren't going to get promoted. Our eyes were on the Loud game, and making a push in Leinster.
We actually got a lot of backlash actually the week to the Derry game as well. A lot of people. At the time it was real bad in the north, and there was a lot of people going against us even going up, so we didn't even know at the time where the match was. And I think we won that. We could have, that Cork game would have probably went ahead, because I think we were still in with a shout, a small chance of. We played down that probably let us down that in that year. We up in Uri on Saturday nights. I think if we won that game, we were in for a real push, and then we drew it awfully as well too, which we probably should have. We should have won that game as well. They're 2 probably games to look back on.
You're still stuck though in Boydu Soyo's back pocket though, aren't you? So
yeah, I know. Yeah.
You have to.
The boys will enjoy that one.
You have to get out of his pocket first before you can start doing it again.
I know that we played him in a challenge game, and Danny claimed he was easy to mark, but Danny was going to run around picking the ball off Paddy and getting handy ball inside the 21. Actually getting hard ball off. And
I think I've seen
I scored 3 points off him that day, and you've marked him 3 times and I haven't got one. So.
I got one. I won.
We got one.
I think
I great experience. Boy, he's a serious talent. He's an animal. Like sure,
it's unbelievable.
If anyone was to go in there in corner forward and mark him, sure, you'd have a chance to maybe get a 1 ball, and if you got it, you'd be lucky. I wouldn't even slag Doc for it, I would. Yeah, I would. Yeah, I went out to the Downs to watch that challenge game that time. I remember that.
was a challenge game or Longford?
No, that was a Byrne Cup semi-final.
Oh, Byrne Cup, sorry, yeah.
Yeah.
He did some job on the whole forward line that day. I remember he was pretty strong. So yeah, you were useless. Yeah, Paddy, a random one as well, I suppose. I know you've played on one of what my brother has described as one of Ireland's slantiest soccer pitches with Gaels United. What's the highlight of the career with Gaels United been?
Gaels United, some career. Look, I think we got going in the league, I don't know, a couple of years back, and actually I had a striker partnership with Sean McCormick,
all right, yeah.
Like he was unbelievable, like, and soccer. But I think like we won I think it was like the Division 3 or Division 4 league that year, and Sir Stan was unbelievable up top. But that's about the highlight of it now. Can't hit the ball. So.
Yeah, my brother said the pitch is about a 30-degree angle from uphill to downhill. So is that fair enough, or
you should come to Cullen?
That'd be very fair, yeah. But you can't score one down the hill.
Fair enough, yeah. Doc, I have to ask you as well. I don't normally ask a low point of your career, but what a low point of your career in 2013. There was a dart tournament in your house, and you were knocked out in the first round. Where the winner got the registration plate off Eddie Doherty's van at the time, and you were knocked out in the first round. Was that a low point of the career, or?
Look, I can't be good at every sport, so that's really bad.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
Fancies himself, doesn't he?
He does, yeah.
I'll count dart to that one. No, look, I had to be a good guest and let the host win, so that's what I done. And then I done the scoring for the rest of the tournament.
I don't even remember if I won. It might have been Ian that won.
Oh, Ian won, yeah.
Yeah.
I think my father might have bet me, which is probably the
probably was, yeah. Although you were about 4 years old at the time, I'd say. So, Dan, what's been your best moment with Longford?
Like we've taken a few scalps, I suppose. You know, I think. You know, the whole Mead was my second year, and you know, it was probably it was one of the most enjoyable years I've probably had in Longford. You know, I've not that I've had too many bad years with Longford. I've been very lucky to be a part of a good team. You know, and we've taken scalps. Just, you know, things were just. It was my first full. I started in 2017, and 2018. I felt I was going to make progressions and. Played most of the year wing forward. We just had a really good team, great backroom team, you know. And like since that kind of, you know, that team with Kevin Stritch as a football coach and Owen Maguire as our strength and conditioning, and you know, Kate McDade was in nutrition, and just everything started coming. It started becoming more professional in Longford, and taking that scalp against Mead. You know, I played a lot wing forward that year, and for about a month before the Mead game, we were in trouble with backs, and Kevin Stritch, and they all kept calling me, "Have you ever played wing back before?" You know, and I was like, "No, I never played wing back," and you know, I kind of knew. I was like, it must have been a call a week, you know, to know that. And so, anyways, I was going in wing back to Mark Killian O'Sullivan, and that was I think that's Killian O'Sullivan, I think was his name. But
he did great.
Taking that scalp against me in Pearse Park, it was pretty good. Now I must say.
And Paddy, what was that little dig there? Was it
Killian? He had a great game that Killian.
Fair enough, Paddy. What's been your highlight with the county? Other than the chants, obviously, yeah.
That Mead game stands out, but like we bet Monaghan up in Clonus in the qualifiers, right, like, and they were the Ulster champions that year, whatever. And but there was kind of mixed emotions after that game because I had my bag packed and ready to go to America, so I was kind of waiting. On the flight, had to be delayed a little bit.
Fair enough, yeah. That's
a nice one to win.
That's not the first story. Yeah, Eddie O'Sullivan, the Ulster fullback, was saying they had a similar one where he had a horse running in Canada and he had the flights booked and the whole lot, and they went and won. I don't know what it was that they won, or the game, the Galway County final went to a replay. He had the flights booked and the whole lot, and lost out in thousands, and the horse made shite of the race as well, so lost the value of that too. So sounds good. Yeah, the Monaghan game, I remember that game all right. Doc, what's been your highlight?
Probably Longford, the minor, getting to the Leinster minor final.
Yeah,
really great. But then probably getting breakthrough onto the senior team.
Do the only Mostrim man, aren't you? You're the only representative.
Yeah. Controversial.
Poor old Darragh.
I'd have a few in there if
The
I
rest,
could.
the rest of the boys are shite. Then obviously,
No, there should be a few more in there.
Brian Noonan and what's the rest of them at?
I don't know. But I'm lucky enough actually with my Longford to get through, because I actually wasn't called in, and then they were playing a 15 on 15, and I think Mullinalaghta at the time were still in the Leinster. The year they won the Leinster, so they needed just numbers, and I was on this like development squad team, so they just asked me to come in and play, and I played well in just a normal training game, and that's just asked in, and then I just got lucky from there on.
Yeah, I have to ask as well, I suppose. I complained about having to make the trip to Croke Park for that minor final where you decided to get concussion and leave the pitch. With a different attitude to your debut appearance in the championship against Kildare a couple of years back down in O'More, where you came on and grabbed a goal in what was described by many as the game of the championship, because there wasn't many good games of the championship up until then. So what's your memory of that iconic moment?
I actually wasn't meant to be starting, and training before Liam Connaughton actually pulled his hamstring, so I had an idea then that I probably could be in, so Paddy rang me the next morning and said I was in, so it was great. Like my biggest memory was Westmeath were playing Laois before it.
Yeah,
I'll never forget driving in and the crowds. I couldn't believe the crowd. I was outside. I was thinking, like, I didn't think that many people at it. Like, it was a ridiculous crowd. But no, it's great. I got a goal. I didn't do too much after the goal, but at least I got a goal. And
you're wearing white boots as well, weren't you?
Yeah, they're actually weren't mine. They're actually Dave McCarthy's. Probably don't need time to be worn on a Longford pitch.
I was wondering, all right. I was like, they didn't look like yours. The crowd was pretty class, in fairness, because I was obviously there to see my own county get bet. But we could see you lads practicing over in the pitch kind of behind as well beforehand. So yeah, there was a serious crowd at it. What's Paddy? What's been the best night out after a Longford game or a club game?
It'll be here all night.
Best day or week or night or
best week.
Oh no, should have been so many of them.
You mightn't have even had to have won the match, just in general, you know.
Well, I suppose, like, look, we had good nights out after winning games in Dublin and good nights out in Longford from that point. I was only thinking about this today, but I think we took a bit of a trupping from Tipperary down in Thurles on a Saturday night, a refix game.
Oh, I remember that.
And I don't know, I think the kind of management said, like, you know, have your couple of pints tonight, like, enjoy yourself. And the next thing, the bus was pulling in an off licence just outside the road from Thurles, and we were all getting off and getting back on the bus, drank the whole way from Tipperary back up to Longford, jumping around the spiral tree, head to toe on the Longford gears. I forgot to win in the Leinster Championship. And I was after getting bet by about 15 points down in Thurles. I think we ended up going back to Danny's house.
That's brilliant.
It was just probably one of just the way it all happened like that.
That's
going down to Thurles that day, that didn't stand out that we were heading out that night around.
Danny, what about yourself?
It's hard to narrow down how long do we have now, because myself and Paddy have enjoyed a few training camps away together, and there's been a fair few good nights now. I don't think I can go into too much detail because I don't know what your audience is. It could be people.
Oh, you can go into whatever. Like the Westmeath Camogie girls last night, Caoimhe McCrossan came on, and their 2019 team trip was so good she couldn't remember whether it was Malaga or Marbella that they went to. So you can go for whatever you want.
No, I don't. I do know, because I was thinking about these, because we've had so many great nights, you know. I do know after the under-21 final, it was the year we bet the Dubs, and there was this big debate about splitting Dublin, you know. And then I remember we bet them, and we were fully sure we were going to beat them. It was 2013, Paddy, I think. But anyways, we played Kildare in the final, and we lost the game by a point or two, and we were all out in Dublin that night, of course. And the Kildare boys were out, but I just remember getting absolutely stocious drunk. And I remember on the way out, I was after getting sick and whatnot. But the water was out in Dublin. There was no water in Dublin, and so we were all in coppers. Like, it was outrageous. So whatever you could get in before the glasses were gone. Anyways, I was on the way out for certain reasons or whatnot, but got kicked out, and I was just getting sick or whatever, and there was a homeless man. There was a homeless shelter there beside Coppers, and my cousin was bringing me out, and she asked the homeless man to give me a cup of water, and out he came with a cup of water, and here was me, the only man in Dublin with water that night in my hand, and sure, I drank it, and the rest I don't remember. The rest was a good week after that. We were out in Paddy's house, I think, out in Dublin after that night. But yeah, that was one of the good nights I remember. But
that's a fair story, all right. Yeah, fair enough. Doc, what about yourself?
Yeah, after the Leinster final, the minor, we ended up in a place called Mullinalaghta, in this like country pub. One of the boys, I think that was a great night. But I have a good, actually funny story from the Byrne Cup. We won the Byrne Cup this year, and so the first time we won something for Longford, my first thing to win for Longford. So we all went out, and it was actually the week before the first game of the league. But we went out anyway, and we were in Joe Lyons', and then one thing into another, we ended up in the nightclub anyway. But of course, I was the last man seen going into the nightclub with the Byrne Cup just full of drink, full to the brim. We hit the straws coming out of it. So I was going around giving everyone taking a drink out of the cup or whatever. Back when COVID wasn't the problem, so everyone could drink out of one thing. And just remember waking up the next morning and thinking, where's the cup? Like I gave it to someone and just don't remember after that who it was. But I got the blame because I was last man seen. So I got a phone call Monday morning, and it was to let me know the Byrne Cup had been handed into the guard station from someone from Longford. Please pick it up.
Mother of God.
Now, I hope none of the Longford County Board listened to that, because I don't think they know that story.
Well, they'll hopefully soon know it.
The Byrne Cup was found in the guard station. But back in safe hands, I think. Anyway.
I'm sure it's probably been in worse places than the guard station over the years. It's been around long enough at this stage. So, Danny, what's the future like for Longford GAA going forward?
Yeah, look, as I was saying, everyone, outside the county would say, sure, look at Longford or Longford, and they're a small county punching above the weight, probably should be in Division 4 or not. But like, our vision is that we have a solid team. We know what we're capable of, and we are able to punch above our weight. Look at there's 19 clubs or whatever in the county, but like, we know everyone always talks about the fortress of Pearse Park. Whenever you get into Pearse Park, it's hard. It's always hard to come out there with a win. And we always I valued the players in the county. I just think there is potential there. It's all down to getting the look at the rub of the green as well. So look at, we'll see.
And Paddy, what about yourself? Is it in good hands? As long as you don't keep kicking it to Niall Sludden, I suppose it's in good hands.
I think it is, yeah. Well, look, hopefully we don't have to play them every week. I think it is in good hands, yeah. As Danny was saying earlier, like, there is never a year that you play for Longford and you're like, at the end of it, you're just like, oh, thank God that year is over. That was a dreadful year. Like, we're always thereabouts in, if it's the Division 3 league, or if it is in, when we are bet, like again this year, like getting bet by Laois by a point, like, we were thereabouts to get to the semi-final. Like, so, the future is bright. Just get all the boys that are available to play for Longford in playing for Longford, and build a little team and give it a rattle for another 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, sounds good. And Doc, what about yourself? Is there any chance to the other Mostrim lads coming on the team, or?
Yeah, we have a few good young lads actually coming up. Actually, we have a lad called Darragh. He's actually Italian. His dad be Italian on the kind of the panel this year, and he's going to be very good. Like, if you look at our Longford team now, it's actually quite young. Like, you have Owen Kenny there who's very young, and even Danny and Paddy, they're still young. Like,
thanks, Doc.
We're actually very young. There's not many lads over 30 on our Longford team. So and then there's a lot of lads coming through. So hopefully we can push on.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, was the O'Byrne Cup the finest hour for you, considering what Longford? I think it was 66 won the league, and 68 was it the only Leinster? I think it's 68. Is that your finest hour since for the county? Do you think?
Probably won't hit you till you
step away.
Like, you step away from it, and you're sitting on the bar stool high stool talking to the boys about it. It probably doesn't. You still have goals, you have aspirations to still take scalps and stuff. And I'm sure if you say to Paddy would say the day in Monaghan was a serious day, like even against Meath, all great days, but there's no silverware at the end of them where there was that day. But you still think there's a little bit to go in it, and hopefully there might be better days than that, and that's what you aim towards, you know.
Yeah, definitely. And I know the fact that he beat, as they call it, like the Dublin second team. But in fairness, there's not many counties in the country that would probably beat Dublin second team even at this rate. So, Doc, was it a highlight for you as well?
The Burn Cup.
Yeah, I got enough fucking photos of Eddie and Darragh Doherty anyway to last me a lifetime.
Yeah, no, it was. It's great. Like, that's the first thing I ever won. That's actually my first ever senior thing to win, club or county, like, you know. So it was big, and it was great to win. Like, and we like, that was one of our aims at the start of the year, was to win the Burn Cup. Like, you know, we took it quite serious. Like, every one of the games that, like, we went out to win the competition. We didn't treat it as a pre-season tournament. Like, we treated it as like something we wanted to win. And it was great to do it, and then it brought us into we started off the league very well, and probably a lot of that was because of the Burn Cup, because, like, you know, we were moving very well, so it definitely would have been a big. But I suppose you'd still love to win a national league there, you know. I think on the Paddy, did you have a national league medal? You might actually on a panel. You know, you'd love to win a national league, like. And then in terms of Leinster, we could beat anyone in Leinster, maybe apart from the Dubs, like, you know, you'd fancy yourselves about any other countries apart from them, like, you know. Leinster's actually very competitive with Dublin Martin in it. Obviously they are. Although
I have to ask you, since you're mentioning it, do you own more Longford jerseys or more Dublin jerseys?
When I was younger, probably Dublin, but I think the Longford jerseys have caught up now.
Have they? Yeah, no, that's interesting. So I'm pretty sure your sister out in Australia has more Dublin jerseys than Longford jerseys, to be honest.
Big Dubs fans.
Yeah, of course,
There we are, yeah.
None of you might like me asking this question, but the likes of Brady, Matthews, McElligott, Mullinalaghta, they put Longford club football on the map, or do you just hate them?
Oh, to put them on the map, like, it's what they done is unbelievable. Like,
yeah,
you know, Danny might have a different view, being more of a closer rival to them, or from little, like, for me, looking at them, like, what they done was brilliant. Like, I know my club back in the 90s nearly done it, like, and there was loads of talk about that, but they never got across the line. Like, so I think
Paddy didn't tell you that he went on the beer at the Mullinalaghta lad for about 4 days after he celebrated like he was playing with them.
He actually started wearing Mullinalaghta gear to train, and
mostly on the Monday morning he was in with the manager, Mullinalaghta manager, drinking pints the first 2 days in.
That's a dedicated supporter anyway, definitely. What about you, Danny? Have you a different view, or?
No, like, look at, like Paddy was saying there, you know, my club has been successful in the county, but we never got across the line. We had a chance in 2012. We got to the semi-final. Portlaoise beat us by a point. And the same happened in 2015. And they bet us, Portlaoise again bet us out the gate, you know. So, we've had our chances. We didn't take them, and Mullinalaghta did. And you look at it, it's a quality team. It puts hunger in the belly, but, you know, you want to take a scalp off them, you know, knowing that they have won Leinster. But, like, they're quality players, and, you know, off the pitch, they're good lads as well. You know, you wouldn't have any begrudges off them now anyway. Certainly, I definitely did. But, you know, you couldn't begrudge them because, you know, they are a quality team, you know, and quality players. And look at, they have put Longford club football on the map.
Yeah, fair enough. Paddy, I suppose, speaking of quality players, is Mickey Quinn's postal address not for your club?
I do often give him stick over that.
No. That's why.
I don't know. I do give him often stick over it anyway, but he does say that it's Killoe. But I don't know. The famous soccer field is only across the road from his house, so it's not that far away from him.
I'll have to get the transfer papers out. So the last question that I ask, I've started to ask everybody, and then there's a quick fire GAA round after that, which I'll do individually with you if you're happy enough to stay on. If the most important question, probably, Paddy, have you ever won anything in the club lotto?
I won this bestseller, like our seller's prize, with that myself and another fella, Chippy Farley, went selling the lotto like on a Saturday night. But say, like, he would have been having his couple of pints, and I would have had a league game the next day. So I would have been doing the most of the selling when he was having his couple of pints. So when our name came out that we won seller's prize, I think it was like €20 or €10 each. Like, I refused to give it to him.
Brilliant, that's a good one. Yeah, Danny, have you won anything?
My father won the Drumlish lot. He won the Father Manning Gaels lot about 4 years ago. So that was probably a high point in his lot. Oh, again, lotto, draw, seller's price. That's it. Lucky dip. No, haven't been lucky yet. Paying the €100 subscription there now, and I don't think if I'm here till I'm 60, I'll win it. But I've shot the numbers. I have to change them.
And Doc, Eddie Doherty and Deirdre will be two of the greatest people in the world to sell tickets. They'd sell snow to the Eskimos, so you've surely had your name come out somewhere.
I didn't even win a €25. You've won more money in Legerstown than I've actually won. So no, you won the poker.
I did. I won the poker tournament, a few years ago. That's right. Yeah,
you won €1,000 off the club, but no, I never won anything. No.
I won 900. I gave 100 back to you. You see, I'm sound like that. So even though I'm Westmeath,
I didn't win anything.
Okay, so the highlight of the lotto is the best seller prize, right? I'll take that. That's the first because couple of the boys so far and a couple of the women have admitted honestly that they don't even play it. So at least you're sound enough. So
I'm 50-50 to be honest.
Yeah, I know Deirdre still plays for you anyway. It's grand. So
to be honest.
Yeah. Right, I'll try the quick fire round. So since I'm going with the theme of bread, it's called the Loaf of Bread podcast after Paddy O'Shea's famous speech in 2004. So this round is very easily titled Cutting the Crusts Off Because You're a Little Shite Who Won't Eat Them for Your Mother, which is basically about Darragh. So I'll start, Paddy. I'll start with you. Best ground you've ever played and your favourite ground?
Oh, you asked me?
Yeah, sorry.
You're only Paddy, man.
There'd have to be Crow Park.
Crow Park. Least favourite ground?
Killoe.
Quality pitch. Best around.
Would you
cold
be
pitch we call it now?
The cold pitch. Would you be Paddy? Would you be a hand pass or drive it long?
Oh, drive it long.
And this one, actually, you're the first goalkeeper we've had on, so I'm afraid to ask this one after the Niall Sudden story. But short kick out or long kick out?
You'd have to go short kick out if you're able to do it.
Fair enough. As a supporter, would you be tea and ham sandwiches from the boot of the car or straight to the pub?
Straight to the pub.
Straight to the pub. Hats, flags, scarves, or headbands?
Hats.
Hats.
There was actually a tweet about me. Paddy Power had a tweet up. I was wearing a hat the year we played Dublin in Crow Park, and Paddy Power actually tweeted saying the Longford goalkeeper wearing a hat during the first half looks like he'd drink a pint and have a bag of tails at half time. He wouldn't have been too far.
I didn't see that. I'll have to go back and try and find out. So, are you a Marty Morrissey man or Des Cahill man?
Oh, Marty Morrissey.
Marty. Who's your favourite pundit on TV, male or female, in any sport?
I'd have to go with Jamie Carragher and Gary Neville.
Okay, we'll take that. Yeah. So, Danny Mimnagh's wet himself in the corner.
I know who Doc could say for me now, but
okay, we'll see what he says in a few minutes. So, Paddy, would you take Diarmuid Connolly in his prime or Pat Spillane in his prime?
Diarmuid Connolly.
The toughest team you've ever played, any level?
Dublin.
The funniest thing that's ever been shouted at you from the sideline?
Just about. They got a bit of abuse from the hill like a few times, like asking where did they get the colour from my hair and
take
who's
that
dyeing your hair and all that sort of crazy.
Good one, yeah. If there was a GAA transfer market in the morning, who would you buy for Longford?
Jesus.
Jesus. Stephen Cluxton.
My answer.
Brilliant answer. Brilliant. Love it. What's your favourite? Who's your favourite boots? Favorite boots maker?
Yeah, I'd be Adidas man all day.
Okay. Studs or molds?
I prefer moldies. Yeah.
Okay. Sweeper or no sweeper?
Sweeper.
Why they're wet themselves again? Favorite sport outside of the GAA?
A bit of golf, lad. Yeah, got into it now.
Yeah.
So
I suppose the three you would probably pick golf. I'd say the best holiday you've ever been on.
I suppose it was the Royal Rumble in Spain with Longford.
The Royal Rumble, right? We call it the Royal Rumble.
No, that story.
Well, okay, we might come to that. And the last one then, Paddy, the best GAA player ever in your lifetime?
David Hanfey.
Okay. Danny, we'll go to you. Your favourite ground?
Tony.
Okay. The worst ground you ever played on?
I have to come back to that one, will I?
You can come back to it if you want now, yeah.
I know, yeah. We could be here all night. Some of them questions. Worst ground. I'd say what's the worst ground, Longford? I'm trying to think. No, I'll have to go back to that.
Okay. Hand pass or drive it long?
Oh, drive it long.
Short kick out, long kick out?
Short.
Tea and hang sandwiches or pre-match pub?
No, go to the pub.
Pub. Hats, flags, scarves or headbands?
Yeah, I'd go for I'd go for headband.
Okay. Marty or Des?
None of them.
None. Your favourite pundit on any show, male or female, any sport?
Probably Jamie Carragher, and Laura Woods.
Okay. Diarmuid Connolly in his prime or Pat Spillane in his prime?
Oh, Connolly.
Funniest thing ever shouted at you from the sideline?
I haven't had a lot shouted at me, to be honest. I was thinking of that. No, I don't listen to.
Good stuff. If there was a GAA transfer market, who would you bring in for Longford? Other than Stephen Cluxton, obviously.
Yeah, I won't go Cluxton. In his prime, I'd love to have played. You'd love obviously to have Gooch. But I probably from nowadays I would say Con O'Callaghan. Oh,
that's a good one. Yeah, someone picked him as well. Favorite boots?
I'm an Adidas man. Predators, yeah, Adidas.
Studs or molds?
Moldies.
Sweeper, no sweeper?
Yeah, sure. Paddy, I'll go with Paddy the sweeper there. He's gone back a few times.
Favorite sport outside of the GAA? Would it be the golf?
Yeah, probably would have to be golf. Yeah.
The best holiday you've ever been on? The Royal Rumble as well, was it?
Yeah, no. I'll go with another Royal Rumble that was in Portugal in the Algarve, Albufeira.
Albufeira.
There's another Royal Rumble there now.
Okay, and best GAA player ever in your lifetime?
I'd have to say Diarmuid Connolly, but I'm a Maurice Fitzgerald man. So, but yeah, either or, I don't mind.
And the worst ground you've ever played on? Still thinking. They're all brutal.
There's been a few bad ones, but I can't think. Edgerstown upper pitch is a bad one.
Okay, fair enough. And we'll go to the Edgerstown man. So to finish, then, Doc, your favourite ground?
Crow Park, but I would say Devine Park.
Devine Park. Okay. Worst ground?
Thinking of that one, I'm going to say Drogheda.
Drogheda. Okay. Hand pass or drive it long?
Hand pass.
Short kick out, long kick out?
Short kick out.
Tea and hang sandwiches from the boot or the pre-match pub?
Oh, pre-match pub all day.
Hats, flags, scarves or headbands?
Hats.
Marty or Des?
Marty.
Favourite pundit, any sport, male or female, on the telly?
I'll go Gary Neville.
Gary Neville. Diarmuid Connolly.
Gary Neville on Twitter too.
Diarmuid Connolly in his prime or Pat Spillane in his prime?
Diarmuid Connolly. I've never seen Pat Spillane play. So
yeah, fair enough. Yeah. Funniest thing ever shouted at you from the sideline. Now that can be manager, fan, or Deirdre.
Mother, yeah. From the mother. I probably don't have I wouldn't have a lot. I remember playing a league game in Cullen and Man United are also playing Man City.
Danny Mimnagh is doing diving signs here, so yeah, go on.
Man United are playing Man City, and remember they were 2-0 down, and then Chris Smalling scored. I think someone was roared onto the United after beating City, something small like that. But I've been called a fucking diver a few times as well.
Okay, good stuff. If there was a transfer market, who would you bring in?
Probably Brian Fenton.
Fenton, yeah, he's come up 3 or 4 times now. What boots? Favorite boots?
Adidas Predators.
Stuff. Studs or mold?
Probably mold.
Sweeper, no sweeper?
I don't like a sweeper in front of me, but then I also like when our team has a sweeper. So I would go with 50, no 50. Sweeper, so I have space. Yeah.
Favorite sport outside the GAA? Would it be the golf, I suppose?
No, probably soccer.
Soccer, okay. Best holiday you've ever been on?
I wasn't in the Royal Rumbles. I was too young for that. But probably leaving cert holiday or over to see the sister in Australia.
Oh yeah, good stuff. And best GAA player ever in your opinion?
The lads might not agree with this, but Alan Brogan. I like the Brogan brothers, yeah.
Okay, very good, yeah.
I'm biased there.
Yeah, no, fair enough. I'll take it. Yeah, lads, look, thanks very much for coming on. It's been savage crack, haven't you? And no, but look, seriously, massively appreciate you coming on, and sorry for taking up half your night, but it was great crack, and wish you the best of luck whenever the GAA comes back at some stage. And Paddy, wish you the best of luck against Niall Studden next time the two of you come up against each other. And yeah, lads, look, I'll talk to you again soon.
Thanks, Jason. Thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah, good stuff.
Best of luck.
Very good.
Thanks, lads. Yeah, I'll talk to you again soon. Good luck, lads. I'll talk to you after. Mind
See you
yourselves.
later, man.
Good luck.
Bye.
See you after.
Bye.
Good luck. Coming up next week on the Loaf of Bread GA podcast, we cut into our next slice.
Yeah.
Emma, your daughter's on the Mo team, isn't she?
Yes, Emma's moved up to minor now this year. So yeah, no, she loves the game, I suppose. She'd no choice.
I was going to say, was it beaten into her, yeah.
Yeah, when she was born, we were just home from hospital and our under 16s were in the county final. So I had to ask Jack to bring us back out. So she was only 5 days old when she was at her first county final.
That's a story you could tell her, I suppose, and she'll probably tell it on in the future. On Slice 11, I have the pleasure of welcoming former Moat and Tubber GA player and new LGFA Leinster president Trina Murray onto the podcast. We chat everything from the impact of her father, the late great Tommy Broder, being a founding member of Moat Ladies GA while still in school, missing a game against Dublin after a car accident, the amazing influence of Little and TG Carr in promoting the women's game, her daughter Emma being born around a county final, battling Desi Dolan's Mammy Patricia and Cora Staunton on the pitch, the dominance of Rochford Bridge ladies, taking over the presidential role in Leinster, and much more. That's next Thursday morning. Until then, Slánigí. I hope you've enjoyed this episode of the Loaf of Bread GAA podcast, slicing into the GAA. Find us on Spotify, iTunes, Anchor and Pocket Casts, on Instagram at Loaf of Bread GAA Pod, on Twitter at LoafPod, and on email loafofbreadpod@gmail.com. For any questions, queries, comments, feedback, or if you're interested in coming on yourself. Slánigí.